Mike McDaniel, Tua, and the Dolphins come to town. Joint practices tomorrow.
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's good, everybody? Matt Derry with you. It is a Tuesday edition, everyone, of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. This a Tuesday, August 12th into Wednesday, August 13th. Thank you for making us your first listen, everybody, and checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. That includes Apple, Spotify, Locked On Lions YouTube channel. I was talking to my guy, Chris Cousins, today, president, proprietor of Financial Architects. Chris is like, how many subscribers you got on YouTube? I said, I had to look it up. 15,500. Appreciate all of you that subscribe and watch us daily on our YouTube channel. Thanks to our everydayers as well that are out there that watch or listen to the podcast daily. Appreciate all of you. We'll have to do an everydayer list later on this week and hit up some of our favorite everydayers. Some of you that hit me up on LinkedIn or Facebook, our man, Dr. Mark, my guy, Anthony Pavicic. Mentioned the Batdoor fam, who I'm going to see on Saturday for Lions and Dolphins. Plenty of folks that check in daily. We appreciate all of you. Coming up on the program today, big week ahead. Tomorrow and Thursday, the Lions and Dolphins will practice joint practices with scrimmages, 7-on-7, 11-on-11, all of that down at 222 Rodwood Drive in the morning on Wednesday and Thursday. The teams will take a day off on Friday and then get back at it Saturday for the preseason game. Game number 3 for the Lions, Ford Field, 1 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. We'll get into joint practices and what I'm looking for the next couple of days. We got to talk about Isaac TeSLAA, who is now national people are starting to magnetize themselves to. We will explain. Lions play the Packers on opening weekend, September the 7th at 4:25. There's a chance. Malik Willis plays and not Jordan Love. I will explain. And we have a call of the day as well. If you want to be our call of the day down the road this week, check in with us. Leave a voicemail on our SpeakPipe voicemail system at www.speakpipe.com/Derry, D-E-R-Y, podcast page. All right, a lot to get into today. Mike Sando, he of the quarterback tiers at theathletic.com, is going to join us Thursday. So we'll talk to our man Sando, who put together the quarterback tiers. Where does Jared Goff live on the tiers? I know there's some hand-wringing about J.J. McCarthy's ranking already from some of the Michigan slaps. All of that with Mike Sando from theathletic.com. It's his famous quarterback tiers. We will do that on Thursday. All right, so joint practices. Here we go. The starters, the Lions ones against the Dolphins ones the next couple of days. All right. And joint practices really are better than preseason games because you get a chance to see, not everybody. I mean, these are open to the public and there will be fans in the stands, but for the most part, this is the best shot at finding out what you have with your starters because you're in pads, you're not hitting the quarterback, but you're hitting each other. And these joint practices usually get a little bit chippy. Dolphins coming to town for a pair of practices tomorrow and Thursday. So Wednesday and Thursday. Biggest 2 things that I want to see. Number 1, I mentioned this yesterday. Who's going to step up at the cornerback spot when you're facing 2 of the better wide receivers really in the game? And Jalen Waddle, I'll put as a top 20 receiver, but Tyreek Hill and his speed, who's staying with him? How does DJ Reed look? How will he look against a guy like Tyreek Hill? Will Rock Yassin continue to play well as he's matched up against some of the regulars that the Dolphins have? If there's one thing that you know with Miami and under head coach Mike McDaniel, their offense moves quick. They got Tua Tagovailoa at quarterback. He's back in the pocket. He's getting rid of the football fast. This is not a quarterback and not a system where there's a lot of play action. There's a lot of holding of the ball. This is quick snap and go. And so how will the Lions defense under first-year defensive coordinator Calvin Shepard adapt to it? How will that go? We know how good those wide receivers are. We know about A-Shane and some of the running backs out of the backfield. How will the Lions hang with Miami's speed when it comes to offense, their offense, versus Detroit's defense. That's going to be something that I'm really looking forward to when it comes to these joint practices. What about the health of Aiden Hutchinson? I'm going to say three things. Number one was the speed and the defense, and the Lions facing the Dolphins wide receivers. Number two, Aiden Hutchinson's health. All right. Everybody's talked about it. Jared Goff was on with the ticket the other day, was talking about it. They're saying that Aiden Hutchinson has been dominating camp, that he has been fantastic against his teammates, going up against, Giovanni Manu and Jamarco Jones and some of the backup left tackles. Dan Skipper, he's practiced a little bit against Taylor Decker, but how will he look against the Dolphins? How healthy is he, and will he continue to dominate? Because, folks, at the start of last season, we were saying it. Aiden Hutchinson was on pace to be the defensive player of the year in the NFL. He was on pace to do it. He was having that big of a season before, of course, he tore his leg in half and had the broken fibula and broken tibia. If Aiden Hutchinson is on his A game and is dominating the Dolphins O-line, their left tackle, their right tackle, that will tell us, man, this guy's going to be ready for the season. And I'm looking forward to it. And Marcus Davenport, same thing. Zadarius Smith waiting in the wings, not signed yet. How will the Lions do in getting pressure on Tua and disrupting what the Dolphins want to do? But I'm interested in seeing how the Hutchinson experiment going up against another team goes. And number three, as far as the Lions' offensive line is concerned, how will their depth hold up against Miami? This is not a dominant interior defensive line for the Dolphins. Hasn't been since they lost Christian Wilkins, but the Dolphins have some good edge rushers. They've got some guys that can get upfield and get to the quarterback. So for Detroit, Decker on one side, Sewell on the other, your two guards in Mahogany and Ratledge, and your center in Graham Glasgow. Brand new interior of the offensive line. How will they handle things with Miami? Will Jared Goff have time to throw? What does the hurries, the pressures, the sacks look like this week as the first team offense is going to do battle with Miami? I'm intrigued. I really am. We have watched over the first two preseason games, the offensive line, some of the backups, some guys have struggled. Others have played pretty well, right? But this will be the first time in the entire camp, really, that the starting offensive line, in how the Lions view it, all right, for this season, is going to do against some other competition. I love the idea of the joint practices. I am so glad the Dolphins agreed to two of them. And then next week, the Texans will have one against the Lions. This is where we find out how the guys are doing, right? Everybody wants to know about Ben Johnson's loss, Frank Ragnow's loss. What does the offense look like? And again, look, John Morton is not going to run a lot of trick plays in a joint practice session because I think that's kind of Bush League. But how's the tempo? How's the communication? As Morton is on the sidelines for this, and he's usually up in the booth during games, how good can this offense look, and what will it look like as they're going up against somebody else? All right. And, the offensive line being cohesive is a huge key. We talked about it yesterday. We could talk all day about all the weapons the Lions have and how good their quarterback has played and how he was an MVP finalist a year ago. Jared Goff, MVP finalist. But it all begins and ends with that O-line. There have been so many games over the last few years, good years for the Lions, where that offensive line has dominated down the stretch to the point where they have put teams away, including last year against Green Bay on that Thursday night game when Dan Campbell elected not to kick the long field goal. Instead said, no, we're going to keep our offense on the field, move it even closer, and run the clock down. They were able to do that because the offensive line, there weren't a lot of leaks the last few years. They were able to dominate from start to finish, put teams away. Montgomery, Gibbs, ball game. That's how you win football games. That's Lions football. That is the identity of this team. How will this O-line do this week against the Dolphins? We're going to find out starting tomorrow. All right. Coming up next, Isaac TeSLAA. Everybody's talking about him. And now he's making a dent nationally. We will explain coming up next. Yes. Third round pick that nobody knew about from Arkansas and here in the state of Michigan. It's getting some national pub. We will explain next here on Locked On Lions. All right, everybody, Locked On Lions for today, a Tuesday, brought to you by our friends at Yahoo Fantasy. That's right, it's the best time of year. NFL kickoff is almost here, and that means fantasy football season is back in full swing. And this year, Yahoo Fantasy is turning things up with a fantasy football experience like never before. This year, me and Locked On Lions, we're going to play on Yahoo Fantasy, and you should too, whether you're a first-timer or a veteran making your millionth league, all right? Whether you're all in on something new, or you like sticking to head-to-head leagues or jumping into public leagues, Yahoo's got you covered, all right? I've been on Yahoo Fantasy for years. The updates they're rolling out this month, by the way, they're wild, but in the best way. To celebrate 28 years of fantasy football greatness, Yahoo Fantasy is dropping 28 big new features over 28 days throughout August. To kick it off, they've just dropped Yahoo Fantasy Guillotine Leagues, a killer new way to play fantasy football on Yahoo, where the lowest scoring team gets eliminated every week until there's one team left standing. The season around the corner, now's the time to get your league together and even give this new mode a try. If you're more into the classics, you can still play in head-to-head private leagues, or like I said before, join a public league. Stay tuned for more killer announcements and start playing Yahoo Fantasy Football now at yahoofantasy.com/LockedOnNFL. All right, hope everybody's having an excellent Tuesday. Matt Derry with you on our Locked On Lions program here on a Tuesday, August 12th. Big week for the Leos. As yes, the Dolphins come to town for joint practices coming up tomorrow and on Thursday. All right, so we know about them here in Detroit. All right, everybody discussed how this was going to be the most controversial draft pick of the Brad Holmes 2025 selections. That's because the Lions sent 3 draft picks to move up to get Isaac TeSLAA in the 3rd round. All right. Rarely do you move up and make a move like this and trade that kind of draft capital for a receiver, quite honestly, on the depth chart right here, right now, as your number 5 receiver. The Lions have 2 excellent receivers at the top with Amon-Ra St. Brown, 1,000-yard receiver in Jamison Williams last year. Khalif Raymond, who always finds a way to get open and is a spark plug for this offense. And Tim Patrick, who is as good a blocking receiver as there is in the league, and also made a lot of plays last year. So here comes the rookie from Arkansas, who didn't break the bank with big numbers last year in terms of statistics. All right, give you some stats, partner. But TeSLAA in the preseason has looked really good. You see the 6'3" frame. You see the hands. You saw the touchdown catch this last Friday night in Atlanta against the Falcons. You watch how he glides when he catches the football. Number 18 looks the part 2 preseason games in. And now, yes, people are starting to catch on nationally. This nugget from Yahoo Sports today. Detroit Lions wide receiver unexpectedly, if I could speak, named fantasy football sleeper for 2025. Okay. TeSLAA, a fantasy sleeper. Then Bleacher Report. Alex K writes that he believes TeSLAA could make a major impact in Detroit's offense this year. Quote, although he'll open his career well behind established talents such as St. Brown, Williams, and Laporta in the pecking order, his upside within this offense is undeniable. TeSLAA still may be on the fringes of standard fantasy league rosters going into the season, but he will quickly become one of the hottest waiver wire additions should any of Detroit's veteran receivers get sidelined. End quote. Again, TeSLAA had 46 yards receiving in the Hall of Fame game, caught a touchdown pass in the last game, and is now deemed a fantasy sleeper by Yahoo Sports and Bleacher Report. Deep breaths, everybody. I think this kid has potential, but I'm not so sure he's going to play a ton, at least to start the season. All right. Number one, yes, you carry 5 receivers. Yes, there will be opportunities for him to get on the field. All right. But they're not playing 4 receivers all the time. They like their tight end. So Laporta is going to be on the field We know Brock Wright's going to get some love. And John Morton, Lions' new offensive coordinator, has already shown it in practice. There could be some sets where you have Jahmyr Gibbs on the field and David Montgomery on the field at the same time. So I think early on in the year, it could be difficult for TeSLAA to play and be on the field a lot. But again, one injury away, you never know. One drop ball away, you never know. Jameson Williams, hello, hasn't been all that reliable consistently when it comes to some things off the field since he's been suspended twice, right? So with that as a backdrop, TeSLAA could get opportunities. But the fact of the matter that he's being called a fantasy football sleeper nationally 2 preseason games into his career is pretty cool. Because I think people are seeing what we see. Brad Holmes might have done it again with another sleeper, with another guy that a lot of teams passed up. And yeah, did he reach for TeSLAA in the 3rd round? Absolutely. Some people had him with a 4th round grade. Some people had him with a 5th round grade. But what if they find something here and he's out there more and he's contributing on special teams and he becomes a decent part? I don't think he's going to be a major part, but a decent part of this offense. I think that is so cool. So he's getting some national love. All right. Speaking of love, you like that segue, Gator? How about that? Jordan Love undergoing surgery today on his left thumb. He's repairing a ligament to his left thumb, but the Packers say they expect their star quarterback to be ready for the season opener. Love had his left thumb taped during practice on Monday, according to ESPN's Rob Demovsky, who covers the Packers. Rob is one of my buddies. Great dude. We used to cover the Horizon League together when he was covering Green Bay and I was doing UDM Titans. Tried to play through the injury in practice on Monday before ultimately deciding to have the procedure done. Packers GM Brian Gutekunst, Goody, said Tuesday that Love could return to practice as early as next week, adding that the procedure was, quote, the best option to get him back the fastest and feeling the best. Suffered the injury Saturday in their loss to the Jets, but he is expected to play. They expect him to be back for the opener. Listen, it's his non-throwing thumb. It's his left thumb. I get all that. You never know, though. You never know. If a guy's got a broken thumb, having issues gripping the ball, might need some time, could that be a possibility that we don't see Jordan Love in week 1? They're saying they expect him to be back. They're not saying it's a lock. Remember, the Packers' backup right now is Malik Willis, who actually didn't look bad a year ago. With that being said, we've talked about Lions injuries a lot. All right. Green Bay's got them piling up too. Christian Watson, shocking knee injury. He's likely going on the PUP list and will have to miss the first 4 weeks. Jaden Reed, fellow wide receiver. Man, let me go back to Christian Watson for a second. When Christian Watson is healthy, he's good. He's never healthy, ever. You can't rely on him. He was lighting the Lions up last year in that game at Ford Field. He's a good player, but can't be great if you're not on the field. Jaden Reed in a walking boot right now, he's a question mark for the opener. So talked about the Lion injuries and Lee McNeil not playing and will Pascal be ready? And what about Mekhi Wingo? And, all the stuff along the offensive line in terms of depth right now. Terrion Arnold, a little bit of a question mark right now in terms of when he's coming back. But Watson, Reed, and who knows, maybe Jordan Love not ready for the opener. Very, very interesting. I cannot wait for September 7th, 4:25 on Fox, on CBS. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, Michigan's own Tracy Wolfson. Counting down the days, man. It's going to be awesome. But keep an eye on this Jordan Love injury. I know it's his non-throwing hand. I know it's his left thumb. You just never know with these types of things. So, all right, coming up next, let's dive in, shall we? It has been a while since we've had a call of the day. If you want to leave us a voicemail and be the call of the day, you can do so at www.speakpipe.com/Derry, DERY podcast page, speakpipe.com/Derry podcast page. Our call of the day is next. But first, Locked On Lions today is proudly brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. We love FanDuel. August 26th is officially FanDuel Futures Day, a brand new holiday for football fans who live for bold predictions and preseason hunches. For just 24 hours, FanDuel is giving you deals on NFL season predictions. So whether you're calling your MVP, eyeing a long shot division winner, or ready to crown your Super Bowl champ before week one even kicks off, this is your moment. Take a flyer on the MVP race. What about our own Jahmyr Gibbs? Can Jahmyr Gibbs be the MVP of the NFL? I think so. Why not? All right. Crown your champion right here in August. Baltimore Ravens, maybe. Detroit Lions, let's go. Or parlay your division winner dark horses. You can do it all. Visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your future bets now, because Futures Day is one day and one day only. Again, August 26th. FanDuel, play your game. All right, everybody, it is about that time. It has been a while. It is time now for our call of the day. We are going out to the great state of Colorado for today's call of the day.
What up, Matt? It's Pete out in Colorado. I have a grave confession to make. About 8 years ago, I fell madly in love with a Chicago Bears fan, and I'm still married to her today. So over the years, I've developed what I would deem as a slight empathy towards the Bears as my second favorite team in the NFC North. But my question is this: if the Benedict Johnson project fails, especially with Caleb Williams at the helm and that god-awful video of him missing every target at practice the other day, if he gets canned, do you think there is any chance that we try to bring Ben Johnson back to Detroit to be our offensive coordinator again? Or do you think he burned that bridge and earned the title Benedict from here on out, and it's all in on the John Morton train? Choo-choo! All right, thanks. I'll hang up and listen. Love the show. Bye.
I don't know about that. I don't know about, first of all, Ben Johnson's not. Thank you, Pete. Ben Johnson's not getting fired anytime soon. Come on now. They love him in Chicago. If Caleb Williams doesn't work out, they're going to blame it on Caleb Williams. They're going to say Ben Johnson, those weren't his groceries. He inherited those. He took those home and had to cook with them. Right? So Ben Johnson's got a while. Would the Lions take him back one day? I think Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes are going to be here a long time. I truly do. And I don't think these guys burn a bridge. I don't know if anybody watched the Brad Galley Channel 7 exclusive interview with Dan Campbell. Brad did a great job on the interview, and he asks good questions, and he gets the most out of his interviewees. But he asked him about Ben Johnson. And he's like, hey, is there a little rivalry here, a little trash talk? And Dan took the high road. He was like, love Ben, still talk to him. Do I want to beat him when we play him? Of course, and vice versa. But Dan Campbell wasn't taking the bait on that question from BG. He was very, focused on it. If the Bears experiment with Benedict doesn't work, would they take him back? Yeah, I think they would. I think the Lions have become one of these franchises where people want to work there. And I don't think bridges are burned. Now, you never know. Ben Johnson, they could win week one. Chicago, I think, plays Minnesota. And then Johnson could talk all kinds of trash about coming back to Ford Field. He could burn it himself, but I don't think the Lions roll that way. I think the Lions are very, very professional in how they do things. They welcomed Matthew Stafford back when he was here. I know the fans really didn't, but no, I don't see a scenario where the bridge is burned. I mean, the Benedict jokes and what we say here on the show. Yeah, I want him to lose every game. I want him to fail. All right. He's talked a lot of smack. I'm sorry. Hold on. Need some water here. He's talked a lot of smack since he's become the Bears head coach. He wants this organization, his organization in Chicago, to, not saying be the Detroit Bad Boys, but he wants them to play with an edge. He wants to change the culture. The Bears have been a laughing stock for decades. All right. Decades. Heck, Packer fans, they got a country song. The Bears still suck. I mean, Chicago's been a joke for a long time. I think Johnson wants to change the mindset. He wants to, be a bit of a swashbuckler a little bit. That's how he is. And so it may work, it may not. But that's a long ways away from thinking about, a guy coming back here. I think Ben Johnson's he'll do well there. I just hope it's later rather than sooner, right? But what I love about this organization is they've interviewed a lot of assistant coaches over the years. They've had turnover. They've brought in people from the outside. When it comes to the front office, people want to be here. Detroit has become a destination place to work, whether it's front office, whether it's coaching staff, whether it's a player. People want to be here. And that's a testament to Sheila Ford Hamp, excuse me, Rod Wood, Chris Spielman, everybody in that front office. And of course, Brad, Dan, and the staff, everybody has done a great job. But that's an interesting question. I wasn't expecting that one, but hey, we're far reaching out there with the SpeakPipe voicemail system and our everydayers, including out in Colorado with Pete. We appreciate him checking in. Was that Peter Bukowski? Was that Pete checking in? I don't think so. Can't wait for the crossover week 1 with sweet Pete Bukowski. Oh man, we're going to break records on the old YouTube. All right, joint practice tomorrow. Number 1, Lions and Dolphins in the morning down at the Meyer training facility, Meyer practice facility there at 222 Rodwood Drive. We will have a recap of it on tomorrow's show right here on Locked On Lions. Thanks everybody for making us your first listen, checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. You got Lions fan friends that don't know about us? Make sure they know about Locked On Lions, please.